What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Amalgam Games Lab. I am your host, Shannon Haegler, and I'm joined by Keena Johnston.
That's me,
Hello.
turning my phone off because I'm not a dickhead.
This is the show where we talk about the games industry, gaming in general, deep dives, games, video games. First, we'll start off with the housekeeping. We'll have the Amalgam show up later on this week. Looks like we're looking at Games Labs Mondays.
Yeah, ASAP.
Yeah, Games Labs Mondays, Amalgam Show Thursdays. If you do have any questions, make sure you comment below or email us at amalgamshow@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, share, notifications, hit the always on.
I think that's it.
That's it? Okay, good. I didn't miss anything this week. Alright. But with all that, let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
It's been a bit of a quiet week this week.
Like, eerily quiet, like there's a big event coming up or something.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that could possibly be.
I don't know
what we could possibly be waiting for on the horizon in about 3 weeks, 3.5.
I have a bunch of assignments due.
Ah.
They're all due during E3.
Oh, what a pain!
I'm trying to get them done before E3 so that I can just live my life.
That's a good
as
idea.
nerd.
Yeah, if you get them all done before E3, then you've got the week of E3 to just live. But essentially, this week has been nothing but follow up from the leaks of last week.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a couple of big ones I wanted to hit on because they're interesting.
They are interesting.
For the most part. So, yeah, I guess we'll kick off with that one then, one you're typing in now.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll start.
I thought you would want to follow up with like Rage and stuff.
No, I'll start with Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one to start with because
It's a good game.
it turned... Well, Kingdom Hearts is a great game. So is Kingdom Hearts 2. The spin-offs, you can... Your opinion is your own.
There are two good spin-offs, and they're good to varying degrees of good.
Which one do you call the good ones?
Birth by Sleep's good.
Okay.
It is... Tetsuya Nomura, the game director, does call it Kingdom Hearts 0.
Okay.
As in 0, 1, 2, so it is console quality, but it is on the PSP.
Mhm.
It's still good. Dream Drop Distance is fun to play. There's a bunch of story issues with it.
Right.
That's where it introduces time travel.
Fun. Time traveling games is not a good idea.
No, especially in that series. It's
Yeah,
already fucking
Because
convoluted
there's
enough
already
as it is.
dimensions and timelines are already kind of fucked up. But essentially, this past week, it seems like a lot of different, YouTubers, reviewers, games outlets have actually got some hands-on experience with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
That is a game that exists.
People are playing it.
Yes, Kingdom Hearts 3 exists. It is out there. It is fully, or at least playable to some degree.
Yeah.
All signs indicate that we will be seeing it at E3 because Square Enix has a press conference.
Yeah.
And that we will most likely, based on all the information that we've got so far, based on the fact that people are actually playing the damn thing, that we will probably get a release date.
They said the release date is coming next month, and everyone's assuming it's E3, but there is the first concert of this year kicks off in LA that week. So, and last year that's where a trailer came out of, was the concert the day before the E3 press conferences started, because they didn't have a press conference last year. Like, hey, we have a concert, let's use this as marketing.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they could always release the release date of the concert, and then, it was the year that Final Fantasy 15 came out. They did their own little press conference about it, and then at the E3 stuff, there was just like extended gameplay demos and stuff like that. So that may be what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's
is like
it'll just be like stuff working together. Like maybe a world will be announced at the concert with the release date, and another world at E3.
Yeah, along with some more in-depth gameplay.
Yeah.
And a good look at maybe a story trailer that gives you a bit more indication of
That
what
would
the
be-
hell is going on.
Yeah.
Because we haven't... I mean, the world of Kingdom Hearts is so convoluted at this point. I'm wondering whether or not they've designed this game with the intention that everyone has played every game, or whether they've designed it with the intention of people who have just played 1 and 2.
I honestly do not know, because the game starts off kicking off from the last game.
Yeah, because 2 ends on a...
Oh, it's not even 2, it's 0.2.
Oh, great.
Literally like, we gotta go save everybody and get the gummy ship. We're going to Hercules' place, and then the game should take place like immediately after that.
I really need to play all of them. I don't like the mechanics in some of the spin-offs, but I feel like I need to play all of them to get myself around it all.
Yeah, some of the mechanics. The worst mechanic probably the card one.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. It's better when it's actually a Game Boy game, but when it's a PS2 game, it's a little bit weird. They evolve that though, so you still have like decks as attacks, but it's not as convoluted. Yes, a little bit, but not that bad.
It just seemed frustrating of just like you could go into a battle and be in any other game you would be well versed to be able to defeat that enemy, but because you didn't build your deck correctly, you're fucked. Yeah, I just didn't like the system. I thought it was dumb, so I don't want to go back and play that one, but, you know, I feel like I have to.
That one's probably the one you can most watch on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
As in just watch the Castle Oblivion scenes, because you do not need to play that game. All the game playing in that game is all filler. All the story is in the... when they come out of the ruins and go, oh, it's Castle Oblivion. Oh no, Axel's attacking us.
Right, okay. Because there are just so many extra characters, extra arcs. Like even the jump, like even when you're playing between 1 and 2, by the time you get to 2, you are completely I was completely confuzzled.
Yeah, because you need to play that card game to know what's the fuck going on.
Like I had no idea what was going on. Like I liked the idea of, oh, this is a new character I'm starting out as. Oh, okay, cool. And then you get partway through it, and then like Ansem's back. But he's not. But he is. But he's not.
But he's Riku.
But yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, no,
And who is fuck? Because you've got Kyrie, Kyrie, and then who's the other one? Naminé.
Yes.
I still don't fully understand who that is.
Naminé is Kyrie's nobody. No.
I thought that was the case, but it never says it like.
Very explicitly.
Does it?
They do say that, but
I don't think I never got the feeling from it. Maybe I just zoned out in some of the cutscenes, but like I feel like at a certain point it is very clear that Roxas is Sora's nobody.
They do straight up say that one.
That one's super clear, but Naminé being Kyrie's, I didn't quite get that. I still felt like Naminé was her own character.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that like she was created that way as her own character in the Chain of Memories game.
Right.
And then they decided like, oh, we're introducing nobodies, and then did that way, and then...
Yeah, the whole nobodies thing really threw me for a loop for a while, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Especially when you've got Ansem coming in and being like he's got a nobody, and he's also... Yeah, and then there's like old Ansem.
Yeah, Ansem like, the Wise.
Young Ansem. And Ansem's a good guy?
No.
Old Ansem didn't seem so bad.
Oh yeah, Ansem the Wise, yeah, he's fine. He just did some research, and then his apprentice was like, aha, use it for evil.
Yeah, and then
he named himself Ansem.
I've got to go back and play these games. But essentially this game exists. Like, I think that's the biggest news coming out of it, is like, holy shit, this thing actually exists. You've been able to pre-order it for over a decade, but this thing will probably get itself a release date. I am interested to see how it plays, how it works.
As a big Kingdom Hearts fan, there's a bunch of like nuances that are great. When you're doing summons, you can press square to skip sequence, which that's great. You don't have to spend like 3 minutes summoning someone. You can.
I never summoned.
Really? Not even Tinkerbell?
No.
She's great. She heals you.
Never bothered. Collected them all. Got all the summons. Just never used them because I didn't feel the need to. The game is not balanced or tailored in a way where summons are necessary.
Even on the harder difficulties, they're not. Yeah. Oh, except for Tinkerbell. Like, there's usually the one summon that's like, you need this summon. Like, yeah, Tinkerbell, Genie in the second game, because you're able to spam him and just fuck up a bunch of people, especially in like the really hard battles, like the post-game battles.
See, I just found that like with the whole second keyblade thing that you got in the second game.
The drive stuff, yeah.
Like that made life easier.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need summons in the first game because I found a way to make the combat work for me and the way I was building everything. And then in the second one, I got that second keyblade and the drive stuff, and I was like, well, now I super don't need summons because like I can just go through and just rinse motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And you know, changing out I actually liked the way that the second game used the keyblade, like its different equipment and abilities in the second one, and all those slots and stuff like that, and having those really fun different drives that, you know, like, oh, now I can fly, or now I can like super like move quickly and dash all over the place, and I'm like shooting or whatever. And it was really, really fun. They evolved the combat in a smart way as opposed to like taking it a step back or changing it completely.
Yeah.
And from the gameplay footage that we have seen of Kingdom Hearts 3, looks like they've just done that again.
Yeah.
Taken the original combat drive system and just like
Evolved it
a little bit further.
And they have taken from the spin-off games. They have like the whole like build up your meter and then like get a new unlock sort of thing, like a new like level, kind of going Super Saiyan, but not really. But just like that's from the like Birth by Sleep, able to be able to jump off walls and shit. That's from Dream Drop Distance. There's a bunch of stuff. They're not like bringing everything up because a lot of that stuff doesn't need to be in a core game. But no, it's still. What was the other good thing? Instead of this speech bubble, which is very much PS2, like go and talk to them. Oh, we have speech bubble. They're actually voiced now.
That is a change that should have happened.
Yeah.
Because like that's obviously like a PS2 thing is like, well, we can do voice acting, but we can't render all of it. So you know, they voice act in the proper scene, in the important scenes, and then we do, you know, text for the rest of it. But you know, it's not just a thing of like, ooh, games have changed, but we're 2 generations removed from Kingdom Hearts 2. Like they should be able to render all the voice acting now.
Yeah.
So
it's not even just the rendering; it's just like its budget as well, because like most Kingdom Hearts games had like 2 years to be made, and like on a PS2 level, like the 3DS and PSP are kind of PS2s anyway, to a certain degree. There's still like you can do a lot of stuff, which is why they're super experimental. But you know, they still need to. It's even like, oh, do you want to select this challenge? That's all voice now.
I feel
little things that I'm like,
little changes which are going to be good. I feel like we should maybe once we've got a firm release date on this one, maybe a week or 2 before the game comes out, we should do a Kingdom Hearts dive. See if we can hash out some bullshit before people jump into that game.
Since the channel started, I've been wanting to do a Keena Drunk Explains Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Because I could do it.
Okay. I would love to actually be like, I would love to have you explain it to me, because I honestly, like, I've got the most bare bones understanding of what the fuck is going on.
We need to get a
whiteboard. Chalkboard. Chalkboard, some red string.
Okay. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it looks
and everything's canon.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
Is that they don't have like side content.
Yeah, there's no act. Well, there are a couple things, like there's a couple of Facebook Flash games and shit that don't count.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But like other than that, it's like every game that comes out is canon. It is important in its own way. Even the least important has like
something.
Yeah.
It's like isn't one of them just literally like a replaying of the first game, but like you're Roxas instead?
No, the Roxas game is his time during the organization. And he's doing missions and stuff.
But then there's one which is like, is it Recoded? Or
yes, Recoded is
where
the
it's
one
essentially you play through the first game again.
Yes,
and
for the 3rd time.
Yeah, and
but you're Data Sora, who's not Sora, he's his own character. But most of that game is irrelevant until like the very end of it, where you find out what that letter says.
Right.
That you get at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, and the letter just basically says, hey, all these people from the prequels and the side games, they're important.
Great.
Pretty much what it says.
Thanks. I wanna go back through and play some of them like in a bit more, and then like when we get closer to the release date, we'll do a thing where basically I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and you're gonna answer them. Because I've played enough of the games to kind of know what's going on, but I am seriously still have zero idea.
Yeah.
But speaking of games that we thought would never happen, Rage 2 officially announced. Off the back of the leak, Bethesda officially came out, gave us a trailer,
Yes.
a cinematic trailer, and then a gameplay demo.
I didn't see the gameplay demo.
Yeah, there is a gameplay.
Yeah, I believe you. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, it looks good. It's so. The reason I wanted to chat about this one is because of some of the conspiracies and
Shit.
what's up.
I need to charge this laptop before it dies. But no, continue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, some of the conspiracies and little sort of tidbits of information that have come out based on sort of how and why this game exists.
Why is that?
Where's the... Oh, battery's running low.
We're on the wrong side.
You are on the wrong side.
Nope, we're not. What the fuck? Is this the port here? Yes, it is. What the fuck?
Alright, that's a weird positioning for it. We're about to... Just hold up, I'll wait until you're back. Technical difficulties. You got him? You got him? You're running out of time, Keena. Hey, we're back.
Yay, we're not dead.
We're not dead. We're not
We're
dying.
keeping all that in. Keep the suspense.
Oh yeah, keep it all in. Okay, so with Rage 2, the gameplay trailer, it's very... There's a little bit of hint of Borderlands in there.
Okay,
Sort of like
the design looks Borderlands.
Yes, there's a little bit of Borderlandsy in there, but sort of the main feeling you get behind the Rage 2 look and aesthetic and gameplay is Mad Max. Essentially.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're getting a Mad Max sequel.
Yes. So this is kind of where all this is coming from.
Because it's Avalanche doing it.
Yes.
With id?
Using
or is it for id?
I think it's for id.
Okay.
I think they're using the id Tech engine, I think. But it is Avalanche doing it, and essentially, because you would know this with like George Miller's
Universe?
legal troubles with Warner Brothers.
Oh, no?
Yeah, okay, cool. So I don't know the details of that, but
Yeah.
what I know is that essentially what happened was there is some sort of... When it came to the Mad Max movie, Fury Road, that came out recently, there was essentially a clause in the contract for George Miller that he would get some sort of bonus, millions of dollars, somewhere in the range of like $20 million or something like that. He would get a bonus if he made the movie and he brought it in under budget. He claims that he brought it in under budget. Warner Brothers disputes that.
From everything I've heard about Fury Road, it sounds like they're right to dispute that.
Yes.
Because this movie took a long time to make, even when they actually started making it.
Yes. So he says he brought it in under budget. Warner Brothers is like, no, you didn't.
There's no way they would have spent actually $200 million on that. That's his budget price, and $200 million, that's normal, like, superhero budget movie,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is not what that R-rated movie was supposed to do.
Yeah. So they were happy with the success of the film. It did very well, but he didn't bring under budget, so he didn't get that bonus, at least according to Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So a lawsuit starts between the two, him trying to get that bonus that he claims that he actually made, and Warner Brothers being like, well, no, we've got numbers that don't... Essentially, during the middle of this, and at some point, Warner Brothers has completely shut down the Mad Max IP. They have removed it from anyone other than themselves. They are not allowing anyone to touch it.
Which is interesting, because they made a big push with the Mad Max IP, not only with the game that came out in 2015, but there was, like, comic series.
Yeah.
Which are good comics, but they made a big push, like, yeah, Mad Max is the next big franchise.
So, as the theory goes, Avalanche was working on a Mad Max sequel to the game that they released in 2015 as well.
Yeah.
They were making a sequel to that game. As the lawsuit hit its point of craziness, Warner Brothers squashed everything and went, no, we're not releasing any Mad Max property until this lawsuit is done. Avalanche left in the lurch. Bethesda comes along
With a
and...
half-finished game.
Yeah, exactly. Bethesda comes along and says, hey, you want to use some of those assets in our engine? Make a game for us? And thus Rage 2 is born.
That
Is
sounds like
essentially the theory that is going around. I'm like, that sounds completely feasible, because no video game company in their right mind would work on assets for so long and then just dump them. They would use them somehow.
somehow, yeah.
And so, yeah, this is where we are.
It sounds like a little bit of the same story how Sleeping Dogs was made.
Yes,
Sleeping Dogs was a true crime Hong Kong game from Activision, but they realized they couldn't annualize open world games. They're like, we don't care about this, and then they killed it. Square was like, a franchise for us? Thank you.
You shouldn't have.
Like, yeah, and then United Front died.
Yeah, but essentially
I love
it's
that game so much.
Yeah,
me and my brother still talk about it. We're just like, you get to drive on the correct side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
You can jump from car to car.
Mm-hmm.
It's Batman Arkham Combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game.
So good. It's
good.
really good. But I'm intrigued by Rage 2. The way it looks, the way Bethesda is putting behind it. Like I said last week, they have a history of taking games that are dead or dying and deciding like, hey, we're going to see if we can do something with this. And, you know, essentially with the assets and the game that Avalanche had already made, in theory, we don't know any of this was confirmed, but in essence, if they had like a half-finished game, all Bethesda is doing them is giving them an IP and a name that can be used to sell. Because Rage didn't do bad.
No,
it was critically panned, but it wasn't a crappy
Oh,
seller. So having that name recognition is helpful. It gives Bethesda a chance to resurrect a new IP. Or an old IP and give it another shot. And it allows them to use their id Tech engine a bit more because for the most part they've been using it to make Doom, Wolfenstein.
Yeah, okay.
I think Wolfenstein's on id
Quake's
Tech.
probably running on that. Quake Champions.
Believe so. But for the most part they're shooters. They're linear arena shooters. This is looking a little bit more open worldy, so that's a way for them to stretch their legs in that engine and maybe see if they can come up with something cool. To be honest, I would hope that this would allow them to make other open world games
In id Tech?
with maybe a little less jank.
Not the Bethesda engine?
No! That wonderful, as I've said in the past, good technical issue that they have. But Bethesda Studios has got to have another
They need a new engine, whether they rebuild it or use id Tech or use the Dishonored engine, like
whatever they need to do. But like at the end of the day, they are due for their next big open world Western RPG that they've been making with Fallout and Skyrim, and I don't see another Elder Scrolls coming because Elder Scrolls Online is so big. It's stabilized in a way where they don't need to make another Elder Scrolls game, and they can continue to sell Skyrim from here until the end of time.
Yeah, using that idea, the rumor that came out today that Fallout 3 is getting a HD remaster.
Sure, why not? They'll probably do that as well. Like Fallout,
that everywhere.
Yeah. They could do that as well. Fallout 4 is no slouch. It's still selling pretty decently. I think they're even doing a free trial of it.
Okay.
I think on Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox.
Trying to get the like mod scene going and stuff like that. Like, hey, try our game for a week, see what you can come up with. Yeah. So they're continually doing more stuff with that. They're not in a shortage of any of that kind of stuff. So Bethesda Game Studios is probably, I think their biggest thing is that they're probably due for something new. That's not Fallout. That's not Elder Scrolls. Something new to get people more excited about Bethesda. Yeah. Because if they announce another Elder Scrolls game, it's like, well, great, cool. At this stage, they're in a weird spot because I feel like they've made the pinnacle of all Elder Scrolls in Skyrim.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, still, because they keep releasing it on different platforms, I don't feel like making a new Elder Scrolls game is going to move the needle anymore. People are going to be... I'm afraid that the reaction to Elder Scrolls 6 is, well, I've got Skyrim.
Yeah. A lot of people were like that with Fallout 4, just like, oh, this is just more Fallout.
It was. Like, it wasn't a big enough change between 3 and 4 for it to be... The difference between Oblivion and Skyrim, huge. That was big enough to make a difference. The difference between Fallout 3 and 4 kind of showed us that, like, oh...
They're stagnated.
They've pushed the limits of their engine.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure they've been using that engine since Fallout 3.
Yes.
Maybe Oblivion, but I think I'm pretty sure it's...
As far as I know,
3.
it's the same engine as Fallout 3. They haven't changed it. It's the same engine that ran Skyrim.
Yeah, it's just been all through that.
They've just been, tweaking it and pushing it. And, Fallout 4 looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. They just built on it.
They just pumped it out into HD, but, at the end of the day, it's still as janky as it ever was.
Yeah.
And so it needs an update. I think their portfolio needs an update because they've got all of these smaller studios around them. They've got Machine Games with Wolfenstein. They've got id now when they've got their Doom. They've got Arcane and Dishonored and Prey. And now they've got Avalanche, who's an independent who's just getting published because Avalanche is still making Just Cause.
Yeah.
But Avalanche with Rage 2, they've got all this smaller independent stuff on the outskirts, and I feel like this, probably not this year, but in the next couple of years, Bethesda needs to make their push of hey, look, we're not just going to rehash the same old stuff over and over again. We as Bethesda game studios are also looking to change and also looking to grow and innovate, rather than leaving that to our smaller dev teams.
Yeah.
Because I think that would set them apart from Activision and EA and Ubisoft as being the forerunners for video games, because only in the last handful of years have they kind of launched themselves up into the stratosphere of
they have their own conference each year.
Yeah,
that's not Square Enix can't do that.
No, they do one every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, which I like that. Just are we going to get one this year? No, that's cool.
Yeah, well, it's good because when you do get a Square Enix press conference, they got shit to say.
Yeah,
they've got stuff. The last one they did was
2015,
which during that press conference was Final Fantasy 15.
7.
I don't think they showed the 7 remake there.
They announced 7 remake there.
That was at the Sony press conference.
That's where they revealed gameplay.
No, Sony press conference was where they announced it.
I'm pretty... No, the Sony press conference. I'm thinking of PSX. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes, no, sorry.
No. They I don't think they even talked, or they might have done another trailer. But as far as I know, the Square Enix press conference didn't have the 7 remake there. It was just at the Sony press conference. Because that was the Shenmue year.
Yeah.
Shenmue, that was the year that Sony did a lot of, we're announcing stuff and not making them
Last Guardian's finally coming out.
Yeah, guys. But no, the Square Enix year that they had Just Cause 3 there that year. They had the Final Fantasy 15. They had I Am Setsuna, and they announced the creation of Tokyo RPG Factory. Yeah. So that was when that was starting. And then they had Tomb Raider. The last Tomb Raider was there that year.
Rise, yeah.
And that'll probably be there this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was Hitman.
Was Hitman.
And then...
was Deus Ex Mankind Divided? Or was that a little bit later?
That might have been there. But the other one that I remember vividly was Nier Automata. Was there that year as well. Because that was the year everyone went, Nier?
Yeah.
Really? Alright, okay, sure. Yeah. But yeah, last time they had a press conference, they came out with some big heavy hitters, some games that once they were released were absolutely phenomenal. They hit the wide spectrum. They hit the spectrum of complete dog shit to amazing. But they had enough games and enough IPs to actually to hold a press conference together. They had enough small stuff, big stuff to kind of be cool, this is enough for a press conference this year. And so when Square Enix does it, that's what they do. Yeah. Bethesda, on the other hand,
it's smaller. They don't output as many games as Square, but
but they've got the other studios. The last couple of years, because when the first press conference that they did was the Fallout 4 one, and then the year after that they focused on Dishonored.
Yes, and then there was a couple of ancillary stuff, and then
then the year after that was Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
and this year I don't know what their big game for this year is. Rage, yeah. I guess will be the big one that they'll go for.
Is that coming out this year? Have they said or?
The reports I saw said within the next 8 to 9 months.
Which means
so
this
possibly. Again, I'll bet it'll be a release date at the conference.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't recall seeing an actual release date.
Yeah, neither do I. I remember a bunch of articles it's coming. A bunch of articles about other games. It's just it's coming out by the end of the physical year. I would say physical.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you've got to also read into that as to what they mean by fiscal year.
Fiscal year is the end of their year, which is usually April. That's when like,
March, April. As I said, the end of fiscal year, which is the end of their like financial year. Which means March.
Yeah.
Which isn't, that means that some games like may not actually release this year, quote unquote. Not this calendar year.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've been looking at, like the list of games and the things that might be getting announced, all that kind of stuff. I don't see a lot that like we could this year feels like it might be a reset year of like a lot of games that get announced at E3 or get played at E3 will be next year. 2020.
Feel that Sony's conference.
Did you see that what's the name of the studio? I don't know the name of the studio, but Stalker. Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, that PC game, that PC horror game.
I've seen thumbnails.
Yeah, from yonks ago. Apparently they announced a sequel for that game from like 2005, and they gave it a release window of 2021.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I'm like, what? At least they've been honest, but like...
Yeah, like, come on. Like, what's the point of even announcing that?
Yeah.
Just keep it, like... That's the moments where I'm like, just... Those are the kind of announcements that make me think that, like, the games industry should just stop hounding industry people for release dates. Like, just let them make the game... Let them make the announcement when they want to, because when they make the announcement, they'll have a solid release date.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, when's this game coming out? Because then you end up with Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Kingdom Hearts 3. You end up with these games where it's like, oh, we're working on a release date, and they're under pressure. It doesn't happen for 10 years. If they had never announced Kingdom Hearts 3 and they just dropped it this year...
It'd be fucking insane.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But like, now there's this expectation, there's a... they are fighting against the last 10 years of people being like, it's never going to happen. Like, I remember the last time Square Enix had a press conference at E3. I was working, and someone was like, oh yeah, because I worked in video games. Was like, oh yeah, I really want to play Kingdom Hearts 3, and I involuntarily laughed in their face. I was just like, yeah, that game's never coming out. Like, I've never had the moment, like, there's literally never been a moment until this last week where I've thought the Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming out. But now that there are enough outlets that have said, we've had hands-on time with it, I'm okay with it. But until now... I've never once trusted any rumor or leak about Kingdom Hearts 3. Just like, it doesn't exist. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist.
It was weird when they announced it, because they announced it in 2013, a year after they finished the 3DS game, and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys... And like that, you can tell by that trailer that we just threw this together to show
Was
you
that the trailer where there's like a bajillion Keyblades like hitting people and like
oh! No.
What's that?
That's Birth by Sleep. With the billion of Keyblades.
Is it? Because I thought the end of that says Kingdom Hearts 3.
Are you thinking of one with people in, like, armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was not. People used to say, before Birth by Sleep came out, everyone thought that was Kingdom Hearts 3. Because it was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, and just like, oh, logically. And then more was like, no, it's a prequel. And then, no, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, it was all the Heartless doing the exact same Keyblade thing.
Right.
And you can ride on them. In that concept trailer, I don't think you can do that in the final game, because you couldn't do it in...
Because I remember seeing that trailer with, like, the war, like, two sides, giant battle, millions of Keyblades flying around. I was like, this thing looks fucking cool, but that never came to fruition, so we'll see what 3 looks
like. By Sleep.
That never came to fruition. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, it wasn't what because essentially, I looked at that and I saw a bunch of things, like, talking about, like, the Keyblade War, and I was like, that'd be a really cool thing to play on a nice HD console.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, for me, I was looking at that and I was like, that looks like a really good tech demo for the PS3. Because that was around the time the PS3 was starting to get its hype. I was like, that thing looks amazing, looks gorgeous. I really want to play a Kingdom Hearts game on my PS3. Yeah. Spoiler alert, never did.
You didn't play the collection?
No, I got them on PS4.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, what? Well, when I knew the collection was coming out. I think I did order one, and I did buy it, but I never actually played it. Because within a couple of years of that, the PS4 was announced, and I was like, well, I just don't want to play it anymore. Yeah. And then the PS4 remakes for Kingdom Hearts were announced, and I was like, well, I'll just get rid of the one I've got and buy it on PS4.
Yeah.
So like I never played a Kingdom Hearts game on my PS3.
I bought my PS3 for Kingdom Hearts 3 and God of War 3.
Wow.
God of War 3 was out when I bought my PS3.
Yeah, God of War 3.
And I'm like, yeah, no, cool. There's enough games now. I have the money. I'll buy it. Kingdom Hearts 3 will come, and I've got God of War 3 for now.
10 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
It's real rough.
But, you know, I wasn't that, like, person who just bought it for Kingdom Hearts 3 and just sat on it. I discovered, like, yeah.
You play other games.
I bought it for Kingdom Hearts and discovered a fuck ton of other.
I mean,
JRPGs
essentially for me, I bought a PS3 because I'm a Final Fantasy fan, and up until that point, Final Fantasy had been completely exclusive on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I bought the PlayStation, being like, "Cool, I get to play my Final Fantasy game," and then they went
Coming to 360.
Yeah, then they went multi-platform, and I was like,
discs.
"Thanks, guys." Just completely undercut the reason I bought this console, but that's fine.
Did you play it on PS3 still?
Yeah, of course I did.
Because like the 360 version is like it's fucked.
Yeah,
Like it's technically not good, and then just visually technically not good, and
Yeah,
then
well,
it's
of course.
exactly
Like
the game.
I like it's, even though it's multi-platform, Final Fantasy is one of those games that I'll always buy on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Just out of some weird brand loyalty, some weird nostalgia.
Yeah.
Of just like I will always buy it on the PlayStation because it will look good, it will run well.
Yeah. They usually, they do design for the PS4 because that's the Japanese market.
Yeah.
The Xbox doesn't
Yeah,
exist in
they
Japan.
usually design and go backwards and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Like, a friend of mine bought Final Fantasy 15 and he's been playing it on Xbox, actually. But he's got he doesn't have an Xbox One X. His housemate has a One X. And they have a 4K television. So he's been like, "Ooh, I want to check this out." And he's like, "It's amazing." I'm like, "I'll bet it is." Because I like have a decent television and like I just have a standard PS4. And that game still looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even have the big TV when I first got the game. I had like my little gaming monitor, which I have, which is like a 23-inch, like full HD high refresh rate. Like it's a proper gaming monitor. And when I was playing it on that, it looked incredible.
Yeah.
And then I got my big one, and I'm like, yes.
That's the thing I feel like I need to upgrade because like the TV I have probably like a 35-inch or so. I'm not sure the exact size of it because it's my housemate's. And my games look good. It's a good TV in terms of colours and all that, but it's not big enough anymore because everyone's like, "Oh, the graphics!" I'm like, this looks good, but like I'm not blown away the way I used to be like on PS3 games, like when I booted up. Like Skyrim,
You don't need a big TV to...
I don't need a Nathaniel TV, but I would like the 40...
40, 42, you can get like a decently priced 4K 40-inch TV now.
Yeah.
Like they're getting cheaper, and they're getting like not cheap. They're getting like less expensive.
Yeah.
Like we picked up a because our TV died in the main room. We picked up a 4K 55-inch for $700.
That's good. What brand is it?
It's a Kogan.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, for the most part, like, at this stage in television's lifespan, the no-name brands are just as good as the big ones.
Yeah.
The only thing you're missing out on when you buy like a 4K that isn't like a high brand is like the OLED or QLED stuff.
Yeah, that's why I want an LG is for the OLED and HDR.
But you can get the boards like if you do enough research in TVs, you start to realize that like essentially the parts for all the televisions are made by like 3 companies, and then they just sell them off to other ones. So if you buy like, I think it was, I don't know what it is anymore. I think it's either Sanyo or Sharp, or it might be both.
Yeah.
But like 10 years ago, if you were buying a Sanyo or a Sharp, you were essentially buying a Sony television.
Yeah.
They were exactly the same.
Yeah.
It was just a different brand name and like slightly different on the like casing of
Yeah.
it. But the panel and everything on the internals, exactly the same as the Sony Bravias. So, and like half the price.
Yeah.
So like if you do your research, you can get a decent TV and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, we're getting to diminishing returns now. Like 4K looks really good, but also the consoles still aren't outputting as much as necessary for that kind of stuff. The only time you're going to get a true 4K gaming experience is in a PC. You're going to need a 4K monitor, and you're going to need a game that runs it, and there aren't a lot that do that at the moment. They upscale their assets, but no one's
designing in.
Yeah, I mean, I think
in.
we said this last week, but I think Forza 7, they did all their assets in 4K and then downscaled.
I know Windows edition of Final Fantasy 15 I'm not sure if it's rendered, but you're able to play it in 4K. And
Yes,
it looks
you do.
Stunning and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then there is a...
You also have like a 200 gig download for that, because it's like 100 gigs for the base game, and then the 4K assets is like double the size.
And if you have the right bits and technology, probably NVIDIA, you can play that game in 8K, which is upscaled, but still, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But, you know, that kind of stuff will... It's again, it's hitting diminishing returns, and I actually like it because it's this part of the life cycle where Borderlands starts to look really good.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be going for colours rather than realism.
Yeah.
We're going to start to see crazy looking things that are going to look like psychedelic and awesome, rather than just, well, this thing's really brown and grey.
Yeah.
Look how brown and grey that thing is.
I feel like
Boy, is it brown and grey.
I feel this generation's been better at that. We've had a lot less brown and grey, but... You know, I do like the colours generation. The colours part of the generation. Like, when we got to the end of the PS3, we got, like, Journey and Unfinished Swan and...
Yeah, and, like, even when you look at Final Fantasy 13, that game is bright.
Yeah.
Like, it is really bright in a really lovely, like, really fun way.
Yeah.
I love the look of that game.
I do like the art style
fucking
of the game.
gorgeous. And especially when you get to certain areas, like when Grand Pulse opens up, that thing is just... It is a bright, sunny atmosphere, which was different to any other game at the time, which was all very dingy and brown.
True.
Brown.
You know, Kuni also comes around this time of generation. We did get Ni no Kuni 2.
We did get Ni no Kuni 2. I should play that game.
Yeah, I should too. Apparently it's just Pokemon, so... We're Studio Ghibli.
Sure. Speaking of Pokemon...
Oh! Nice job.
The other big major thing coming off the back of all the E3 leaks and spoilers is the next Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Which are rumoured to be called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Which I'm not a fan of those names, because I like the colour schematic, but I guess they are running out of colour schematics.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how we look at this. So, I was quoted last week in saying that, like, when the idea of a Kanto remake again came out, I'm not excited for it.
That's the thing, but this doesn't seem like it's a remake. It seems like it's Red and Blue 2 to an extent.
No, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that's kind of like, since I've been thinking about it, and since I've been thinking about it and sort of seeing more come out about it, I really should have waited. Because at the end of the day, Game Freak has been doing this for so long, the Pokemon Company's been doing this for so long, and I honestly believe they've never released a bad game.
Yeah.
Not in the Pokemon series.
No, not in the core Pokemon series.
Yeah, even if you don't like the designs of certain Pokemon, or the generations, or whatever it is.
The games are too easy.
Yeah, whatever your complaint or nitpick is for each individual game, at the end of the day, the base game for all of them is as good as it ever was.
Yeah.
If not better every time, because they balance, tweak, they change things, they give it a little bit more flavour. So there's no reason to expect this game to be bad.
Yeah.
As more stuff has been coming out, like, essentially, the rumour came out, people kind of latched onto it a little bit. It wasn't until a particular Pokemon website, Cerebi, announced that...
I've been to Cerebi for years.
I know, but he's still the be-all, end-all. Joe Merrick from Cerebi is still the be-all, end-all when it comes to Pokemon news. And he tweeted out that he felt like this was... the rumour was substantiated enough that it could be declared as news, or as a possible leak.
Yeah.
And once he said that, then... The detectives start to come out and start to come out and start to realize things like, okay, cool, so if they're saying that this is correct, and you look at this guy who tweeted this thing way back then, he also did this 4chan post, and you read through all that shit and go, oh crap, this might all be real.
That's the thing, 4chan's so fucking weird. It's either completely wrong, incorrect, like Kratos' dick will be in the whole game.
Yeah.
or it is spot on down to the letter.
Yeah.
Like, there is no in-between for 4chan.
Yes, so, like there was a leak before Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon on 4chan where someone said, the new game's Usum, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. And everyone was like, I don't know what that is, I don't care. And the rest of it sounded like far-fetched, and like, fuck this thing. And then, 6 months later, we're like, oh, yeah, right. So, essentially, there was a leak on...
Don't publish the 4chan, go to Reset Error on NeoGAF.
Yeah, like, publish on a place that people actually look at. Because the thing with the 4chan leak that has the most credibility behind it at this point in time was actually released on April 1st as well. like doubling down on making it like just not a possible thing.
They have the Square Enix issue where they do a bunch of announcements on April 1st.
Yeah.
Like when the merger happened, that was on April 1st. And everyone was like, this is dumb, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I think this was... I get the feeling that this was a person... they weren't oblivious to it. I think they purposely posted it on April 1st to muddy the waters so that they didn't get caught.
Yeah.
And so that when the time actually came, people could go back and be like, oh, it was this guy, rather than him getting caught and fired.
Yeah.
Most likely, or whoever his source is getting fired.
Yeah.
Because essentially the list of stuff says, like, okay, cool, we got the name, which is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The remake Red and Blue are in the game, but you play as different characters.
I love that.
That's a really cool idea. It makes sense for it to be Pikachu and Eevee because that was the other thing. It's not a Red and Blue remake. It's a Yellow remake.
Yeah.
So
Yellow sequel.
Yeah, because in Yellow you get your Pikachu and your rival gets an Eevee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that aspect.
So that's why that balancing is there, which is really good. Which is really cool. It looks like the Poker Ride feature's back, which is great.
The Poker what's that?
Poker Ride. Did you play Sun and Moon?
I haven't. The last game I played with Hard Gold Soul Silver.
Okay, cool. Essentially, in the latest games, they made one of the biggest mechanical changes they've ever made to Pokemon, and that was they removed the HMs.
I have heard this, yes.
Yes, and it's amazing. It's like, oh my god, I don't have a HM slave, I can use all 6 of my Pokemon. It's amazing.
Do HMs still exist, they're just not permanent? Or is it just straight
No, they got rid of HMs, and the 6 HMs that are like, usually in every region, like Fly, Cut, all that kind of stuff, they converted them to TMs.
Okay.
And removed like 6 random TMs from the system. And TMs, since Generation 5, have been multiple use.
Oh, you can apply them to more Pokemon than before.
Yeah, they don't disappear.
Okay, because that was the thing I was thinking, like, can you go buy more TMs? Like,
No, once you have it, you have it. You can teach that to any Pokemon you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically they're HMs now, except non-permanent.
Exactly, because you can overwrite them. So yeah, that's kind of what that was the balance change they made in the last couple of generations, which is really handy, because it means that, like...
It's just less micromanaging.
Yeah, exactly. You're not having to, like, go back to the PC and dump things and change it out and, like, oh god, I don't have my HM slave, and... It gives you a full it allows you to focus more on the Pokemon training aspect as opposed to the resource management part of the game. Because you have all 6 of your slots available. You can completely form a fully rounded team with a fully rounded moveset in the game, which is why the game itself, like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, actually got a little bit more difficult. Because again, they're now designing for the fact that you have a full team of 6. Not a team of 5 and a HM slave.
That's the thing. When I first started the game, yes, I had a HM slave, but like once I got savvy to how everything works, I always had like everyone had a role. Like my water type would always learn surf, and it would be my surfing.
It's
easy. A cutter had a rock.
It's easier for like you're always gonna have your bird that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
And for me, because I usually picked a Charizard at some point, I would just give Charizard fly, because then it's like, well, A, he's a decent attacker, and so I can give him fly, which is good, and then B, he can then just fly me around places, and then I'm riding on the back of a dragon. Awesome. In
the newer games, are stats important? Because like everyone's been like talking about stats recently. Like when I was playing, I didn't give a fuck. As long as I had my favorite Pokemon, I could do whatever.
It's still like, at the end of the day in the games, if you over-level enough, your stats don't matter. You can go through the game with pretty much any Pokemon. Through the game itself.
Yeah.
It's the competitive side where the stats get a little bit more... more relevant. Important. More relevant, yeah. That being said, though, like I said, with the... Whatever scaling or whatever they decided to do with the new AI in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they have definitely created a system that is a little bit more challenging. Like... Those NPCs were definitely coming at me with strategies that I would not have gotten from previous generations, and there were definitely battles in that game where the opposing Pokemon had a strategy or a moveset and a typing combination that were really difficult. And if you didn't have the correct stats in the correct Pokemon with the correct typing and the right moveset, it was really difficult to get through those battles. You couldn't just spam you couldn't just spam your highest attack and win. Yeah, you would actually have to think about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I got to a battle where I was like, I need a ground type Pokemon. I never train ground type Pokemon. I don't like them. I think they're kind of boring. I needed one. I 100% needed one. I was never going to get through the battle. And yeah, so they've done a bit better. And like the big boss the boss battle in that game is very difficult. If you don't have yourself set up correctly. You need like a good combination of like 3 or 4 different types. They all need to be like level 70 plus. And this isn't post game, this is in the story mode. If you don't have them at that point in the story mode, you will just get decimated.
Jesus.
Which I thought was great because it's a legendary battle. So like it felt difficult, it felt tough. I felt like I was on the back foot the whole time, like I was taking on a god.
Yeah.
Like I was sitting there like, oh my god, how the fuck am I going to beat this thing? Because it did kill me a couple of times. Which I've never had in a legendary battle before. The most I've ever had in a legendary battle is, oops, accidentally killed it.
Yeah.
That was the worst I got. But like, the thing that I liked about that battle was, A, it was difficult, and B, you weren't able to catch it in that battle. For story reasons, you had to beat it, not catch it. You could catch it later.
I do like that aspect because the first time I played Ruby, the first time I played a Pokemon game, I killed Groudon and I'm like, oh shit. I guess that's the thing. I hope I can catch him later. No. I'm like, fuck, restart.
I think you can.
Not in Ruby, no.
Not in Ruby?
No.
I thought it was... in Emerald you can go back and... I think it's in Emerald.
I think you can... I don't know.
I'm pretty sure because most Pokemon games have the thing of like, if you kill it in the story battle, there's a way to get it back if you do a couple of things like post-game, but when you battle it the second time, it's like 20 levels more powerful and way more difficult to catch, so you're better off catching it in the story.
Yeah, I feel that's a little bit later on, but definitely not in Ruby and Sapphire.
But hey, we'll get back onto the actual...
Oh, yeah.
the Pokemon games. The thing that is causing controversies, is the sort of the back half of that leak, which says that there is going to be Pokemon Go integration.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm like, oh, how? What?
So essentially there was like 4 dot points that were around this. So the first one was Pokemon Go integration. The second was a dot point that is... I'll get back to that one. Because that's the one that's freaking everyone out. The third one is that there is some sort of accessory that will be functional between both Pokemon Go and the Switch games.
Pokemon... What's it called? The thingy, the pedometer.
The Pokemon Go Plus?
No, the one from Heart
Oh, the Pokewalker.
Pokewalker, yeah.
Essentially, yeah. Like, is what we're looking at.
all of that.
Yeah.
One of the best time I got to
so it'll... Yeah. So, there's an accessory. I'm thinking something along the lines of like a Pokemon Go Plus Gold Edition or something, where it's like... It's essentially the Pokemon Go Plus, but then you can hook it up to the Switch for whatever reason. And then the last point was that there will be in-game rewards in both the Switch game and Pokemon Go for using both of them and like switching between them and whatever. So there'll be in-game rewards on either side. I'm okay with that.
It's fun, like, hey, we have this awesome successful game, and we have another one that will be because we're Pokemon. Let's integrate them and be cool. But
let's go.
Me as a person who wants to play these new games, but knows I will get addicted. I have Pokemon. I had to quit because I got way too obsessive. Was like, and adding Pokemon Go to it, like, that's because like. Game integration I like, but I obsess over it too much because back when like Ubisoft was doing that kind of shit, like with Pokemon, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, if you play the online, if you play the Facebook game, you could get extra rewards and costumes, and I played that fucking Facebook game, and it is not good.
We'll see what this means.
That's the thing for me, but
yeah, we'll see what this means because like the second point that was there, the thing that is causing a lot of outrage is, the point that was put was. Catching Pokemon works like it does in Pokemon Go. That was the quote. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, please, no. So I don't think anyone's going to be happy about that. Because the little... Yeah. But, there's a scenario where I can see that would actually work. Essentially, I'm okay if they put the throw the ball mechanic into the game, if they don't touch any of the other mechanics. So if I'm still battling the Pokemon, then I've got to get it weak. And then if I'm playing in handheld mode, I can use the touchscreen to throw a Pokeball, and it's like an accuracy test. as opposed to just hitting a button. Okay, like, I'll get over it, that's fine. And if it's in docked mode, it's the Joy-Con motion control.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That could be fun, like, of just like, hey, I'm battling the thing, and oh, cool, I've got it down to low health, and the thing is like, hold the trigger and throw your thing. That's you grabbing a Pokeball and throwing it. Like, that'd be fun. I could do that.
I don't mind that, as long as one is optional, which, even if it's not optional, don't have it be super accurate, because that's my one problem with Pokemon Go, is that I'm not accurate, I always miss. But in the game, you should have enough money to just go buy 99 Pokeballs.
Yeah, if everything works the same as it does in the original Pokemon, then there shouldn't be an issue with it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But I do like the idea of, like, having a situation that is a little bit more akin to the Pokemon show of, like, you can miss your Pokeball throw.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing that I actually like the idea of.
And they used to do that.
Yes,
when you were like under-leveled and you threw a Pokeball, they were like, oh.
Yeah, like, you missed.
Yeah. When that first happened, when I was playing original Red and Blue, and I did that to Mewtwo, I'm like, what the fuck, bitch?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude!
Like, you can do that in the old games, is you could miss your Pokeball throw. And I think that's a really interesting, like, it's a small little added thing of, like, hey, we're adding another layer of depth. What I don't want them to do is to bring in any of the battle mechanics. Because if the battle mechanics from Pokemon Go end up in the Pokemon Switch game, I will not buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's not what I want.
There's no battle mechanics.
It's tap. You just tap the screen heaps. Right. And I don't want that. If they bring in, like, the CP, like the combat power stuff, into the game rather than them having base stats and typings and, like, effective movesets and all that kind of stuff, then no, I'm not going to buy it because it's not worth it. I mean, honestly, I'll probably buy it and see what it's like.
I wait for reviews in that case.
Yeah.
And everyone else's opinion.
But I just don't... Yeah, like, I want to keep the core turn-based RPG, because that's what Pokemon is, and it's really, really good. There's no reason to completely change it. But I have said in the past that I would like them to change it. But changing them this way, like, no one says that Pokemon Go is a good game. It's not. It's a bad game, but it's a really good social experiment.
Yeah.
It's really fun to go out with friends and have your Pokemon and just, awesome.
I don't mind it even as a collecting game.
Yeah, like, it's not bad.
Just going around collecting as a game, actually fighting things. Like,
as a video game, it is bad and boring.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the possibility of, like, a spin-off series of, like, a Let's Go series that is integrated in with the Pokemon Go game, that allows them to do fun things, different things, because this is what it feels like. A lot of the other leaks say that the graphics are somewhere between Pokken Tournament and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So basically Sun and Moon, but a little bit more polished up.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, because it will take some time for the Pokemon Company and Game Freak to stretch their legs and figure out what they want to do with the Switch's power, because they've never had this much power before. They're usually limited by the handheld system, so they've never had this much power before. Them redoing or doing a retelling of a Yellow type story gives them the chance to use the current engine they've got, push it to its max, and figure out the limitations they're working with.
Yeah.
From there, they can build a new engine, come up with new things. And I'm okay with them starting this generation off with something like that, because it means that it gives them time. Because I'll bet there's another team developing something else in the
There's
background.
definitely another game in pre-pro, at least.
Yeah,
Whether
at the
that's
very least.
the Diamond Pearl remake or the next gen.
Yeah. And I think that's... this kind of release gives them the time to do that, because it will give them... honestly, it'll be a proof of concept. It'll let them know what they can and can't do with the system, what's the best thing to do. It'll also be a good proof of concept for, like, their business ideas, like... How much do we integrate with Pokemon Go? Do we even bother going down this road? Is it going to sell as well? Like, if it doesn't sell as well as Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, well, I guess it's hard because the Switch has less units, but, like, they could go off percentages.
Yeah, relativity,
yeah, and all that kind of stuff, and figure out sort of, like, what the tail is on this thing, and, like, okay, did it work, did it not?
did Pokemon Go numbers increase? Like, did they get extra money from it because of it? Like,
or
there's a bunch of business stuff. That
or does the needle not even move?
Yeah.
Like, do Pokemon Go players just not want to play the core RPGs anymore? They just want Pokemon Go? Because I could see a world where that actually is like, for instance, my fiance plays Pokemon Go a lot, and never would touch the game console in her life ever. Just not a video gamer like I am.
Yeah.
She's a social gamer.
Yeah.
So she plays a lot of phone games, so Pokemon Go fits into that. My thought was that when I saw those leaks, I was like, sweet, so what I'll do is I'll play my game, and I will attach it to her Pokemon Go account. She can get all the rewards when she's playing Pokemon Go, but also, there's also apparently going to be rewards going back the other way.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing in here, I'm helping her out.
Yeah.
And, like, that could be fun. That's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's not going to get two sales out of us.
Yeah.
They're not going to get her buying it and me playing Pokemon Go. They're going to get her doing one thing and me doing the other.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that I'm curious about. All indications is that this game will be announced by the end of May. Because
Yeah, apparently it's meant to be announced before E3.
Yeah, well, the Pokemon Company always announces before E3.
Yeah.
They always do that.
And then it'll be... Yeah, yeah. Because Pokemon's never been at E3, has it? Like, part of press conferences.
It is, usually.
Okay.
But it's never announced at E3. They always show a trailer at E3, but by the time it gets to E3, everyone knows this game is happening.
Okay.
Like, they announced Sun and Moon in February and then showed a trailer at E3.
Okay.
They announced Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in May or April?
Mm-hmm.
May. They announced it in May, trailer at E3. They announced X and Y in May and trailer at E3. Like, they do a trailer already, but you already know it's coming, and they usually have already given you a release date. E3 just shows you, like, a 30-second thing.
Yeah.
And then usually there's... the year Sun and Moon came out, they did, like, a Treehouse stream for it.
Yeah.
They were like,
Sorry,
we're gonna...
separate
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, we're gonna show you some gameplay, and that kind of stuff.
And I feel this year for Nintendo is they are focusing on Smash.
Smash.
Like, that is the only thing that they're worried about.
Smash.
For the most part.
Maybe Metroid.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming out this year. They'll give us a trailer. I definitely don't think it's a main focus.
No, probably not.
Because I do not see that game coming out until 2020.
But yeah, I mean, there's every possibility by the time this Amalgam Games Lab goes up, we've already got the announcement for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And if it has, then we'll talk more about it next week. But
Yeah.
was there anything you wanted to hit on?
Very quickly, I'm interested in what you think about Master Chief Collection. That is Halo. It's getting updated finally. Like, 343 keep talking about, like, we've been meaning to fix it ever since it was re-released.
since it launched,
but, like,
busted?
we don't have... It seems like they've got, like, a shoestring budget and, like, an intern working on it, like, to fix it.
The way that game launched...
I didn't realise it launched badly.
It launched so badly. It felt like there was a floor in that building that was on fire, and there was just people running around with fire extinguishers not knowing what to do. They're like, holy shit, this thing's on fire, and like people keep throwing stuff at it, and then the fire just keeps getting bigger, and they had no idea what they were doing.
Do you know what specifically is broken about Master Chief Collection?
Everything.
Everything?
There is literally... Okay, so it's better now, but upon launch, there was literally not a single part of that game that was not untouched by fuckery.
So even, like, Halo Anniversary was fucked.
So
that should have been, like, the most ironed out thing.
The biggest problem was the matchmaking. So the whole point of the Halo Master Chief Collection was that, like, it's all the multiplayer in one place and you can pick and choose and all that kind of stuff. The matchmaking was broken, so no one was getting matches. Once you were in, the servers were bad, so they were dropping out constantly. That was the big issue, because the whole point of the games was, like, multiplayer. You get all the Halo maps, all the Halo modes in one place, and it was just broken. But then, on the other side of it as well, there were reports of the campaign save files getting corrupted and being deleted. Being eaten by the cloud or whatever. And people losing their progression in the actual games themselves. So it was both the single player and the multiplayer side were just broken. They've worked out the matchmaking somewhat, but, like, honestly, not many people are I don't know what the... Halo has a dedicated fan base, so it's probably people playing it all the time.
I feel people are, if the Halo community is still on 5 rather than Master Chief Collection.
I would actually think that'd be the other way around, because 5 was not received well by the fan base.
Okay, I thought the multiplayer was still fine for that.
Yeah, the multiplayer was fine. Multiplayer's always fine, but I feel like for Halo multiplayer fans, the focus was always 2. People wanted 2, and they got that through the Master Chief Collection. And
that was a full anniversary upgrade, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, that was where most of the work was done.
Yeah.
Because anniversary is already done. 3 and 4 were already in HD, so it was a matter of porting them. But 2 was where the bulk of the work was done. But honestly, the multiplayer from the sort of people I know who play it and sort of the community at large, it seems that they tend to sort of fall more between like either 3 or 4.
Like go back and...
Yeah, like one of those two tends to be the one they prefer. 4 because it's the most recent, so it's got the most stuff in it. 3 because it's the one with the most stripped down multiplayer.
And I was gonna say the last Bungie multiplayer. Reach exists.
Yeah, but Halo Reach is also one of the fan favorites, and that's not in the Master Chief Collection.
Because Master Chief isn't in that game until like the very end.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But also Halo 3 ODST is in that.
Then I don't know.
Yeah, so like it's not in that. Like the Master Chief Collection is 1, 2, 3, and 4, but about 6 months after release, they released a thing where if you had the Master Chief Collection, you could go in and download an update that gave you ODST as well.
As a sorry we fucked up.
Pretty much. That game was completely... So, yes, it should be receiving updates because it was broken, and as far as I can tell...
It should be fixed by now, because that game came out in 2015.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that... Like I said, it felt like the office building was on fire, and no one knew what to do. Because they were just literally... They were issuing patches after launch, like, every single day for a couple of months. And the patch notes literally went, we think this might fix it. Like, along the lines of, we don't know if this is going to work, but here you go. And, like, you'd patch it and be like, they didn't fix anything. All right, cool. Well, we'll make another patch. And another one. It just kept going. It should be getting updates. It should be getting updates until it's fixed. And then once it's fixed...
It seems like this next one should be this final one. Like, it's a 4K upgrade. It's the one that should fix it. Like, finally fix it. Because I don't think they have updated it in a while. Like, anything of substance.
The thing is, though, this is it's a weird move. Because I think that you would think by now we are due for Halo 6. So where the fuck is Halo 6? And then the other thing is, though, this makes sense because Microsoft has been spending nothing but the last 3 years doing nothing but making good.
Yeah.
Like, apologizing and doing things to try and make themselves seem like not a giant fuck up.
Yeah.
So them finally fixing the Master Chief Collection falls in line with everything else they've been doing of like, let's fix this thing, we bug it up, because that's all they've been doing for 3 years. I really hope they can stop doing that soon and just start making good games.
Yeah.
Like, I hope their E3 just knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
And then I hope it all comes to fruition, because man, oh man, has it been a rough... It's been a rough slog if you're a Microsoft fan.
Yeah.
Is it Chrono Trigger PC also getting an update?
Yeah, did you know anything about this story?
I know that Chrono Trigger on the PC was apparently a giant pile of dog shit.
It was the Android port, just the smartphone port, just done the exact same, the same interface, the same graphic style. Which, did you ever see the Final Fantasy VI mobile art style?
Yeah,
it's horrible. And Final Fantasy VI looks gorgeous. Like, you should have just kept the Game Boy Advance assets. Kept them and just went with it. Or done it in the style of Final Fantasy IV PSP remake. And then went with that, but no, they had to make it cheap and stupid.
Is Chrono Trigger on that, like, SNES Classic Edition thing?
Is it on the NES Classic?
Yeah.
Probably.
Not NES, the SNES.
Yeah. Probably it's on the Classic.
There's only 20 games on that thing.
Yeah.
Because I just remembered that.
Star Fox 2.
Yeah. I just remembered they're re-releasing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, I wish I had money to buy these.
Yeah. And apparently the stock is substantial.
Yeah.
Substantial. Like,
that's good.
Like, well, the SNES Classic, like, when the NES Classic came out a couple of years back, there was, like, barely any anywhere. When the SNES Classic came out, everyone was worried the same thing would happen again. But it turns out they learned their mistake, and honestly, those things were fairly easy to find.
I've seen a couple of those in
they're
the
still-
wild. I'm like,
Yeah. They're still fairly easy to find.
Yeah.
They're doing another run of them, so they'll be even easier. And essentially, the word I'm hearing out there is that the NES, because they're doing that one again as well, that this time around the shipment numbers are looking similar to that, where it's like this one's going to be a little bit easy. Like this is going to be the make good of like if you missed out the first time, you can get it, and then if anyone else wants to get it, we're making enough so that you should be able to just walk into a store and get one.
The real question: are the cords longer?
No, fuck no. It's exactly as it was. So if you want it, you can buy a cord extender for $13. Fuck you.
Fuck. But
Quote Nintendo.
Chrono Trigger, they're giving you options to like fix the, like change the art style, like go into the settings, like classic style, classic. Even the boxes are like very, the text boxes are very like smartphoney. So they've gone and fixed all that, made it look more classic. And like, everything I've looked about Chrono Trigger ports, they're all bad. The PS.
It doesn't surprise me.
Like Chrono Trigger on PS1, it had the FMVs from Toei Animation, which
Yeah.
makes it look like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy fuck, this looks awesome. But that game, because it's a PS1 game, has really slow load times.
Mm-hmm.
The DS version is probably the best, but it doesn't have the FMVs. And then every subsequent port has been just bastardized.
Have you ever looked into like those Japanese companies and how things are? Like the way things... So, it doesn't surprise me that every port of Chrono Trigger sucks shit, because those companies are actually pretty bad at preservation.
Oh, yeah.
It would not surprise me if the source code for that thing is... Because I know there are a couple of games for Square Enix and a couple of other Japanese companies where the source code doesn't exist anywhere. They printed it out. It is like 30,000 pages of source code that they printed out, and we're like, cool, we'll store it that way. So if you ever wanted to do a remake for one of those games, you would have to take the source code and manually type it in off of 30,000 pages.
Do it. Like, that's the thing.
But like, that's the thing is, like, I'm saying, like, it doesn't surprise me that Chrono Trigger sucks, because they're probably working off of like 6 different versions, and they're just trying to piece it together, and they don't have the original base code to work off of.
And like they do, just punch it in.
The man hours that would take. And especially because you are not running off of the software architecture the same one anymore.
True, yeah.
So you would not only have to punch in the source code for it, you would then have to make the edits on the fly to make it work on current hardware and current software. So it's a Herculean task, and I think the actual answer to it is just remake the damn thing.
Yeah.
Give us a new Chrono Trigger.
And don't Final Fantasy VII remake it. Remake it like...
God of War it. Give me a new Chrono Trigger.
That's a completely different task, which I don't think we're ever going to get. And it will not be that Chrono Trigger, because like Chrono Trigger is just this team of people that should never have come together, but they did, and just made the best, or second best RPG of all time.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, find a new team, give them the Chrono Trigger license, and just say, go hog wild. Come up with something.
That's called Chrono Cross. No one played that.
No. But, like, yeah, make a Chrono Trigger 2 and just give it to a team. But there is no end of ways of playing Chrono Trigger on every other platform. Like, you can find ports and that kind of stuff of this game.
Yeah.
If the PC version of Chrono Trigger is shit, the legitimate PC version, quote unquote, of Chrono Trigger that Square Enix has released is shit, there are plenty of ways for you to find another version of Chrono Trigger, and with one stone, kill both birds of playing Chrono Trigger the way you want and telling Square Enix to go fuck themselves. Like, you can do both of those things by finding another version. Like,
that's the thing, they are fixing this, and I feel like when they finally fix it, it's all done. Like, when I hear, oh, it's good, it's fixed, I do want to buy that and actually run it through. Like, because I've played it through one of those other methods, and emulators aren't always good.
No, they're not, but they're getting better. And at the end of the day, like,
also
that's what it takes. It takes, like, once they fix it and then people start buying it, that's what'll take them to learn, like, don't release your shit before it's ready.
Yeah.
Like, get it right the first time and then do it.
Yeah. This should not, like, this is one of the greatest games of all time. It should not be pooped out like a fucking.
Well, this is the thing: is that it is one of the greatest games of all time. But I guarantee you, Square Enix don't see it that way because it's not. I don't know the full numbers.
Oh, it's not a sale.
It's not a seller.
No.
So who cares? Like in corporate speak, if it's not a seller, who fucking cares?
Yeah. They just can get money off ports.
Square Enix, in many ways, although they are my favorite company because they release some of my favorite games, they are the EA of like Japanese developers. Where if it doesn't make money, they just don't care.
Yeah.
Like they
in
give
terms
zero.
of that perspective, yes.
Yeah, they give zero fucks if it doesn't make money. They just sold IO and Hitman, even though it's an amazing game and a great property and did really well. It didn't do well enough, so they were like, fuck it.
Yeah. I'm glad they let IO keep Hitman. Because if they didn't, IO... No, that wasn't IO.
IO Interactive.
It is IO. I mean, I'm thinking... Why am I blanking? Just
IDOS?
weird, like... No, I'm just thinking. Because, yeah, they kept the Kane and Lynch, Square did. But,
yeah, there's a winner.
But that's the thing, like, if that was the only thing that they left, like, what I'm saying is that if IO had nothing, it was just a company, they would have died.
No, but that was the thing, is that
Unless they
were
Smack Girl or something.
They were selling... They were selling everything off, and IO just came up with enough capital to buy Hitman off them as well at the same time. And a couple other things as well. But yeah, like for the most part, Square Enix doesn't care. If it doesn't make enough money for them, then they will just ditch it, and not in a way of like, oh, let's kill it. They're a little bit more forgiving than EA in that way. A lot of the time, instead of like full on killing a thing or like shutting down a studio, they'll sell it off. They'll be like, we don't need this anymore. Can someone else take it?
Or like with the case with The World Ends With You. Did you ever play that game?
No, I did not.
It's another game by Tetsuya Nomura. It came out on the DS.
I remember this game. I don't think I played it, but
It's really good. There's a Switch version of it coming out, and that's like
yes,
yeah.
That's
the thing. Like they killed. Like that was the thing where they're like, oh, The World Ends With You didn't sell on DS, one of the most popular consoles of all time. We're not ever making any more IPs. And they said that 2007, I think. And we didn't get any new IPs. They were all Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy : were a shit game. Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else came out. And then, it's not until the new CEO took over, that's when we got Bravely Default and stuff like that.
And they've been doing well since then. Like, they are a...
And they're lowering their expectations. We're getting, like, Tokyo RPG Factory. Iron Setsuna, from everything I've heard, is an awesome game.
It's really good. It's, a little bit slow, but,
I feel that's kind of the purpose of that game, is slow, because it's all about death. So.
Yeah, it's fine. But, like, Square Enix is a big, old Japanese company. It's hard to make them move and turn. Have you watched the No-Clip documentary on Final Fantasy XIV yet? You really should.
Yeah.
You
put up a podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to his podcast.
Yeah.
So.
If anyone's interested into how, like, Japanese development works and what the hell happened with that game in particular...
14, God, that's a beautiful story. I would
wonderful. It's the 3-part series is really fascinating. It doesn't just give you not just an insight into Final Fantasy XIV as a game, but also an insight into Square Enix as a company. And you start to realize, like, oh, like, now I see why all your decisions are kind of a little bit off base. Like, sometimes they make really good ones, but sometimes they make really bad ones, and that one really explains it to you in a really good way of like, I'm starting to get it now.
Okay.
And then ever since I watched that, now that every time a decision is made from Square Enix, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Cool.
Like, it's not as surprising. Yeah, definitely watch them. They're like 45 minutes a piece or something like that.
Cool.
And they're really easy watch. Danny O'Dwyer is an amazing documentary maker.
Yeah, even listening to his podcast, I'm like, he's like, we want to make like a well-edited podcast. And it is. It sounds like a documentary, but it's just audio only.
Yeah.
It's not as... You don't need to edit video, so you can make more of it. So I'm like, cool, I want to watch it. And I've always, since he launched, I've subscribed. I've just...
Yeah.
Haven't...
Final Fantasy XIV one's a good one, and the Doom one's a really good one as well. He's a very talented human being.
Yeah.
I love... Oh, and the Horizon Zero Dawn one. That one's a really good one as well. But if you're interested in that kind of stuff, definitely check his stuff out. No-Clip.
No-Clip, yeah.
I'm going to plug that thing because it's fucking amazing,
Yes.
and I don't care if he's not going to come after me anyway because he doesn't do advertising.
Yeah, and also we're plugging him. Like, everyone loves... They come on to other people's shows and plugs.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I love him. He's great. He's also he seems like a genuinely nice human being.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Danny O'Dwyer. But yeah,
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Unless you care about the Vitas.
I don't care about the Vita. Not even Sony cares about the Vita at this point.
No, which is why they're not making physical cartridges anymore. Which,
So-
whatever.
Honestly,
This console's 5 years old.
Honestly?
This is about, like, this is for...
I thought it was 6. Was it
Oh,
2012?
yeah, no, 2012, yes. For a console that sold as little as it has, I'm surprised there are still physical cartridges being made.
I thought they already stopped it.
Same.
Like,
I've never bought a cartridge. I did because it came with my bundle. It was Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation.
never bought a Vita. I
It's
didn't
a
even
good
bother.
console.
I always wanted one. I had a PSP. I thought it was really cool. A friend of mine has a Vita. I just never, like... The games are never good enough. I bought a Switch.
Yeah.
The Switch is what
The Switch is
I want the Vita
is
to
the
be.
Vita 2. Like, yeah. But yeah, that's all.
And yeah, the Vita should just die. But the thing is, here's my question then: do you think Sony goes again?
My thing is what other people have said is that Sony is a crazy enough company to do it.
They've got
Especially
enough money to do it.
Yeah, and like PlayStation is the best part of Sony, and there's just enough, and like Switch is doing well, so like they are crazy enough to do it. Like,
God, I hope so.
like that's the thing. All we would need, what we want is the PSP 2. We don't want Vita 2. We don't want the back touch. We don't front touch. Front touch is fine.
They'll keep that though.
No, the back touch.
They'll keep that.
Does Switch have 2 sets of shoulder buttons?
Yeah.
Cool. Then that's all they need to do. I don't think they'll make a portable,
No.
I don't think they'll make a Switch. I think it'll still be its own dedicated. But
Yeah,
maybe,
but I
don't know.
think that if they do another one, I think they will do more integration with the console system. I think
That's
you'll
what
have.
the Vita was meant to be, but they
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll have that more. They'll hopefully more seamless integration of like, I'm playing something on my PS4. Someone wants to use the television. All right, cool. Turn the Vita on. Hit a button, and then it flings.
You
like,
can
switches to my
theoretically do
Vita.
that. You just need good internet. Remote play is supposed to do that, but it just doesn't work
Yeah,
all the time.
but a better
And,
infrastructure
and,
will allow them.
Like, I tried to do it with Bloodborne. I'm like, I just want to do it while I'm on the toilet because I really like this game. You need those back buttons, and that touchpad is not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not good.
I kind of hope they don't, because like it would just be.
I think
It's
they're putting their
walking-
fish into... Not their fish, they're putting their eggs into the basket of VR. Like, that's their
Yeah, I hope
secondary
so.
thing now.
Because it would just be
Or was it
them launching
redundant?
another handheld would be them walking directly into the lion's den. Because Nintendo has just proven, like with the Switch of the release, they've literally just stood in the middle of the handheld market and gone, "This is our shit.
Yeah.
Like fuck off, all of you."
And it's like, fuck off to everyone who said handheld gaming dying.
Exactly.
Because of smartphones. Yeah, Nintendo's interesting because
Handheld gaming's been dying for 5 years. Since the launch of the 3DS, everyone said, like, oh, handheld gaming will die because of smartphones. The 3DS still sold. Like, it took a while,
It took to the end of 2011.
but the only reason it took that long was purely because of the success of the DS. People didn't want to migrate, because they had their DS, and
And
it's
like,
fine.
there was no games at the time. Like,
Yeah. But Nintendo has proved that not only does innovative hardware sell, but innovative hardware sells when you've got decent software.
Yeah.
Like, all they needed to launch the Switch was Zelda.
Yeah.
And they nailed it. And they swung it out of the park, and they've continued to hit banger after banger.
What was the game that finally made the 3DS sold? Because there was Ocarina Remake, which was in the murky time. Kingdom Hearts came out, and that's not a system seller. It sold for me, but that's not.
It's 2011 when it started working, right? Like when they started.
At the
really-
very end of that year. Oh no. At the end of that year, I think got the price cut.
Yeah, I thought 2012 was the year that they really started to upswing.
I remember there being a game that came out.
I think it might have been Mario 3D Land.
It sounds about right.
I think it might have been that, because that was the first one where it was a decent license, it was a good game, and the 3D made sense.
Yes. No, it was that game. It must have been that
It
game.
must have been, yeah. I think that was the one that turned the tide, and then I believe after that was Mario Kart 7, which also did really well.
I miss playing Mario Kart. I haven't actually played a Mario Kart. I've never owned... Here's the thing.
Get a Switch.
Yeah, no, I will. I have never owned a Mario game. Thus, I have barely played any actual Mario games.
Okay.
Like, everyone sticked around with the first game.
Yeah.
We can't get past the first stage because we suck as modern gamers.
That's fine.
Yeah. Galaxy confused the fuck out of me when I was 12.
I hadn't played a Mario game. Like, Mario Odyssey was the first Mario game I had played since 64. Which was exactly what it should have been, because Mario Odyssey is essentially 64 too.
Yeah. 128. Took me a while to figure that one out.
Really fucking good game.
Yeah.
Man, I should play some more Odyssey.
One day.
Yeah, I hope Sony doesn't do it. I kind of hope Sony does a handheld just to watch it crash and burn, because I think it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
you saw that with the Vita.
Oh, but the thing is with the Vita, I always felt like maybe this is the year they'll turn it around. Like, maybe this is the year they'll turn it around. Because Sony's always
in the early years, yes.
Because Sony's always so confident. Like, when they do a thing, you're like, yeah, this might work.
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo is the opposite. Like, they do a thing and you're like, are you sure, Nintendo? Like, are you sure?
And even they're not always, like, things like, when they introduced the DS, it was, remember, it was the third pillar?
Yes, yeah.
It was like, they were like, oh, 2 screens, we don't... It's not replacing the Game Boy. It exists.
We'll still have the
oh,
Game
we sold well, so fuck the Game Boy.
Yeah, fuck the Game Boy. Yeah. Because like, and that was the thing that people were kind of thinking about the Switch too, is they might like look at it as like, no, this is just a like we're still gonna support the 3DS, because they did. They're like, we're still supporting the 3DS, and this year's E3 has no 3DS on it because they've just gone, all right, cool, we found our cash cow.
Yeah,
we can hit both markets at the same time on one development cycle. Yeah. Like, half the budget, twice the money, fuck yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, like, with Nintendo stamping their claim to the handheld market, I think it would be dumb for Sony to make that move, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like...
And then I would love to see what kind of crazy thing... Because that's the thing that is, like, about Sony, is that even when they do this crazy shit, their hardware is such good quality. Yeah. Like, the PSP is such a cool little thing, and...
Even the people love the PSP Go.
Yeah.
Like, the digital only one, like, the thing was too small for me, but, like, I looked at it, I'm like, fuck, no, my hands can't fit on that when I was, like, 15. Yeah. But, like, no, people love that. The Vita is gorgeous. And even the version without the OLED screen, people are like, no, this is still really good.
It's really good quality.
If you're not looking at them side by side, you won't notice. And, like, yeah, no, that's the thing. Sony will always make great hardware, regardless of whoever puts shitty content onto there. Thank you, the people who made Black Ops Declassified and Resistance for Burning Skies.
Wasn't Black Ops Declassified, wasn't that Respawn?
No. It Niantic. No, not Niantic. Nihilistic, something like that.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't. No, Black Ops Declassified. It was made in 6 months.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I heard the horror stories. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably wrap this one up. Yeah. So I thank you for listening to the Amalgam Games Lab. Remember to check out the Amalgam Show later on in the week. If you have any questions, please comment below. Email is amalgamshow@gmail.com. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications button. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking, I told you that one day we'll make the thing where we just like film the...
Yeah.
We need to write a jingle for it.
We do need to write a jingle for it, don't we? Damn it. All right, cool. We'll catch you next week.
I don't know how to write music.
Let's hope there is more news next week.
I'm not sure. What I want to do, and I'm not sure whether to do it on this show or the core show, is the prediction show. I think that's next week.
We'll see how we go next week then.
Oh no, there's another week after that before E3 starts.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of time before E3.
So we'll have a thinky about it.
Yeah.
But be excited for our predictions episode. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I'm so hyped.
Looking forward to it.
I love making predictions. I love
making
being wrong.
I love being wrong. Yes.
But also love being right.
Yes. All right, we will catch you next week, guys.
Bye.